Hi, my name is Sara Stayte. I'm here in Accra with Plastic Punch. I am currently the North American Women's Association's Green Team Coordinator, and I'm going to teach you today how to compost in your own backyard so that you too can have beautiful gardens. You want to compost to amend your soil, to grow wonderful fruits and vegetables and flowers. So you want to learn how to compost at home and also how to build your own compost stack very cheaply. Composting at home is the best way to amend your soil so you too can have wonderful fruits and vegetables and flowers for your own personal garden. It's the best, most efficient way to bring those nutrients, those vitamins and minerals from your own kitchen into your garden. So, you ready to learn how to compost? Let's go. So I'm going to teach you today first how to compost and also how to build your own compost bin using a very simple tire stack method. And so I want to show you here these two green compost bins are made from tires, recycled tires that we got, somebody was going to throw them away, so we got them from a vulcanizer, and it was very cheap and easy to make these. So let's talk about how you can make your own compost bins at home. And by composting at home, what you're going to do is basically you're going to turn all of your food waste into pure black gold that'll be wonderful for the garden. So let's talk first about building a stack. So these are some tires that we got from a vulcanizer, and they were very happy to give them to me for free because otherwise they would just end up in the landfill. And I got about 10 tires, and the easiest thing to do is do 2 stacks at a time, 2 stacks of 5 tires, because it's the lazy person's method. I'm lazy. So I build one, I fill it up with food waste. It takes about 6 months, and then I just let it sit, and it turns into black gold for your garden. And while that one is sitting, I fill up the next one. And by the time the second one is filled, I'm ready to harvest this, and then I can reuse it. So it's so easy. So here's how you make your tires. You get your tire and you're going to scrub them. Scrub them really clean because you want to get all of the auto and brake dust off the tires because you don't want that stuff in your garden. And then we take a very sharp knife and we cut away the sidewalls, and you cut about in the center of the sidewall because you want to have enough room remaining so that your tires will stack tightly together. And the reason that you are cutting away the sidewall is, you know how tires are. When you set them down, they're going to collect water, and those mosquitoes will breed in that puddle. So it's very important to cut away the sidewall on the downside so there's no mosquito breeding. So that's what we do. And we also, it's easier to cut them. We used a drill, and we drilled holes, and that makes it easier to get the knife in because it's pretty hard to get your knife in there. And then you just cut around, and if you angle the knife, it works a little bit better. So that's really, you might want to engage the help of a strong man to do that. But once you've got them cut, you can stack them up, and you can stack up your tires. Any size tire will do. Obviously, you want to put the largest one on the bottom and stack them up so there's smallest ones on top. Then, once you've got your clean cut tires, you want to dig a hole. And I dug 2 holes under here. They don't have to be very deep, ideally about 2 feet, but if you only dig them 6 inches or just scratch a little dirt out, that's fine too. And there's a couple things. The most important thing about digging your hole is that you want to make the hole rat proof. If you're composting in the city, be sure to make your hole rat proof. You don't want to be that neighbor that attracts the rats. It's very important. So in my first compost bin, I put a wire basket around. This is a simple laundry basket. I got that for 10 CDs and put that underneath, and the lip of the tire hooked nicely into the laundry basket. So that is underground. And if you don't have a wire basket, you can use a piece of this wire mesh. And once you dig your hole, you sort of shape it in there under the ground like a basket. So this way, and then you set your tires on top of the corners after you've made your little basket underground, and you'll see that these holes are so small that a rat cannot go through. It's very important because rats will dig. So we're making this a rat-proof hole. You also want a hole underground because you want the worms to come in through the dirt. The worms are gonna be what eats your food waste scraps and turn it into compost. So you want the worms to come in, you want the water to be able to drain, and you want to keep the rats out. So the next thing you need is a lid. And we just took a piece of plywood and I threw it on the ground. I drew a circle, I put my tire on top, I drew a circle around the plywood, and we just cut it with a jigsaw, and then we used some sandpaper, sanded the lid. Now you've got a lid. And then of course we painted everything. That's optional. You can use it right like that. You just need some kind of heavy thing to put on top of your compost. Piece of rock works just fine. That's what I'm using. And then every night when I go in, I fill my compost, I just lift the lid. So you can also do something fancy like make hinges, whatever you want, but right here works just fine. Painting. If you want to make it pretty, feel free to paint it. I did mine green. I've seen other people do beautiful colors. You can do the Ghana flag. You can do whatever you want. Just make it pretty for your backyard. So that is the ins and outs of composting and making your own compost tire stack, I should say. Now let's talk about actual composting, how to compost. So here's a quick summary of what you do and don't want to compost. So do compost all your fruits and vegetable scraps from your kitchen, your eggshells, not the egg meat, your coffee grounds with the filter, because that's made of paper, the tea bags, take out any staples, your rice, bread, pasta, grains, anything that's vegan, your grass and plant clippings from your garden, your brown stuff, your wood chips and small branches, your paper, carbon paper, shredded paper, newspaper that you can't recycle, and leaves. That's what you do want to compost. All great composting materials. Don't compost meat, fish, bones, dairy products, including egg meat. Do not compost any of that meat, bones, or dairy. Do not add fats and oils. Those are bad for your compost. Do not add salty items. Salt will kill your plants. Do not add weeds with seeds or diseased plants, because if you don't want it in your garden, you definitely don't want it in your compost. Do not add human, dog, or cat poop. Any poop from animals that eat meat, do not add it. Although if an animal is an herbivore, like a horse or a cow, that's okay because their poo does not have parasites. Do not add anything that might have disease or chemicals. No tissues. If somebody blows their nose, don't add that. Painted or treated wood, don't put that in. You don't want chemicals, so don't add chemicals, and don't have ashes that might have chemicals, like anything that's been burnt other than pure clean wood. Do not add it, so just keep it out. That's what you do and don't want to compost. The compost. So I set up this bin just over a year ago, and I filled it and it sank down, and I kept filling it and it sank down, and then when it was really full, I just put it aside and started filling my second bin. So I've been filling the second bin for the last year, and now this is ready to compost or to harvest for our garden. So I'm going to show you what it looks like. Probably, yep, really easy to take off. And I'm going to take off another one. And can you see that? So the top layer is, obviously you're going to still see some food stuffs that's at the top, and you can just scrape off the top, and I can just put that in my other compost bin. Once you get the top layer off, because that was the last stuff added, right? So it's not as old as the other stuff. And when we take this off, this has been in here for quite a while, and eggshells make great nests for worms, by the way. They love curling up in the eggshells. And worms are really good for your garden. Talked about how to compost, what you do and you don't put in your compost bin, and we've talked about how to make these easy compost bins from scratch at home. And I'm just going to show you here, this is some finished compost, and this is compost that was pulled out about at halfway, about 3 months old. So this is a wonderful soil amendment that you want to add to your garden. So you always add maybe like 50% compost and 50% black soil, and then maybe some fertilizer. Of course you want fertilizer too, but this will make wonderful fruits and vegetables, and this is all free, and as the many nutrients and vitamins and minerals that you've put in from your kitchen, that's all in here now. So again, the most important thing is to keep, if you're going to compost in the city, make sure your container is rat proof, and it's very simple. We've got cut tires here, and we've got wire mesh underneath to make sure that the rats won't dig down. I put some rocks down there as well to make sure that the rats couldn't dig around. You've got your tires cut away so mosquitoes are not going to sit in there and breed, and they're all cut at the bottom so there's no puddles. And then you've got your secure lid, and basically you're going to add your healthy food scraps. You're going to put them in your home compost stack. You're going to end up with this wonderful, beautiful compost black gold, and with that you're going to grow more healthy foods. Thank you very much, Plastic Punch, and I hope that you have a wonderful time composting at home, and it's going to save plastic, right? Because now you're not putting out your waste every night in a plastic bin. So thank you.